Party leader, there was something that I wanted to tell you. When it came to the matter of this broad-based government, the people of ODM entrusted one person with the management of that relationship. And that person was Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. That relationship is complicated. And therefore, we are looking and we are wondering, those that are taking it upon themselves to manage it now, are they capable of managing that relationship? I don't think that is a question for me to answer. That is a question for the people of ODM to answer. And party leader is why I'm requesting we need to go back to the people and have an NDC and see who the people want to pick to manage that same relationship.
Which way ODM, Sam?
Well, a very important question that Winnie raised during that meeting, and I know a lot of people have said that she was differing with the party leader of ODM, who happens to be her uncle. And of course, we also have a clip of Dr. Oburu Oginga responding and saying that he is going to have a conversation with Winnie, so that that's an issue that is supposed to be dealt with at home. But I think continued conversations that we've had on different platforms, and of course speaking to different members of the ODM, will reveal to you the challenge that has been. Because when she says that it is Raila Odinga who is managing the relationship between ODM and the broad-based government, you can see the sense of loss that since the absence of Raila Odinga, who is informing the sense of direction for the party when engaging with the broad-based government. And obviously also listening to the voices of the other leaders that spoke during that event, it shows you the challenges of the unity after Raila Odinga, that you find there's a lot of suspicion in members and how they're treating each other. You'll find a cabinet secretary like Hassan Joho saying that he should not be sacrificed. They should not be sacrificed for the decisions they've made before. Now, when you look at the law, to contextualize what Winnie Odinga was talking about, you're looking at the constitution of ODM, and it shows you that in Article 6.2 on the election of national officials, you go to the point where it says that all national officials other than the Secretary for Parliamentary Affairs and others shall be elected by the National Delegates Conference. And then again continues to say that in the event that the party leader is unable to discharge his or her duties by reason of many things, including death, then a special session of the National Delegates Conference would be called to elect a new party leader. Obviously, we know that no special National Delegates Convention has been called, and Gladys Wanga was explaining to Emmanuel Toh in an interview that an NDC takes a lot of time to organize, and therefore that's why the party leadership and also top officials of the party were confirmed in National Governing Council. So there's a question of how constitutional are those decisions, because last week on Thursday evening, as soon as most of the members of the party arrived in Mombasa, there was a National Governing Council that met, had a meeting to ratify the decisions of the National Executive Committee that is chaired by Gladys Wanga. That meeting resolved to confirm Dr. Oburu Oginga as the party leader, Gladys Wanga as the chairperson of the party, and the deputy party leaders in the name of Simba Arati, Abdul Somad Sharif, and Godfrey Osotsi. So the questions are, was the NGC, in this case National Governing Council, right to elect or to confirm this party leadership? There are those that say that it is confirmed pending the decision of the NDC. But ideally, what do you take to an NDC? Is it a confirmation hearing, or it's an election? In an election means, is it universal suffrage, where you have gone through nominations and you have a list of candidates that want to be perhaps the chairperson of ODM, or you just take the name of Gladys Wanga for confirmation? obviously that's a question for the members of the ODM to decide. Yeah. Would they have wanted to have Gladys Wanga facing other candidates, or do they want, when the NDC is called, you don't know when, they'll just be going there to confirm the leadership as it is? There has been different leaders who have said that the ODM constitution was actually amended in the year 2024 and changed a bit of the rules and some of those provisions that you're citing. The constitution of ODM as we know it is as amended in 2016. This amendment that is being touched on about 2024, we've been asking for that document. Nobody has delivered it. We have no information of such a document being filed with the register of political parties, but then such an amendment must be approved by a national delegates convention. Yeah. The last NDC was pre-2022 election, so no NDC has happened, and therefore such a constitutional amendment cannot have taken place because no NDC has been called. So the question is, are these decisions that were taken on Thursday evening binding on every member of the ODM? And then, whatever answer that is Winnie right to call for proper election of party officials? Does it mean she's opposed to Dr. Oburu Oginga? Perhaps not necessarily, but she would want to see the right procedure followed. Ideally, if a political party is seeking to win power, win elections, and therefore govern a country based on the Constitution of Kenya, you would expect that the decisions they make within their political party are in accordance with the constitution of the party, but also respecting the constitution of the country that also allows or requires democratic exercise of decisions that are being taken in a political party. So really, ODM party is finding itself in a situation of which way after Raila Odinga, but also how respectful should they be when it comes to following the constitution of the party. And remember, Yvonne, the constitution of the ODM provides for 2 positions of deputy party leader. Yeah, today we have 3 deputy party leaders in office. In an amendment supposedly that was created so as to accommodate as many regions as possible within the ODM strongholds. But is that decision constitutional according to the ODM constitution? Perhaps not. Let's listen to the party leader, Oburu Oginga, 2-3, talking about the things that he will fulfill.
Ulisikia mtoto yangu Winnie akisema ati Raila alikuwa hapo na sasa tutafute mwengine kusaidia kuendelesha hii broad-based government. Ninamwambia hiyo mtoto yangu tutaongea na yeye kinyumbani. Nitamwambia kinyumbani. Lakini hii kiti ambacho nyinyi mnamenipatia ya kuongoza ODM, kuwa party leader ya ODM, nitaendelea vile Raila alikuwa anaendelea, na nimebeba hiyo ngao, na sitakuwa na uoga yoyote, na nitaendelea kutimiza yale yote ambayo ndugu yangu Raila alikuwa anataka zitimizwe.
So that's his pledge and his response to Winnie Odinga's call for an NDC. But just help us understand, Jay, you know, for lack of a better word, the forces that are at play and the different sides that are at play in ODM at the moment. Winnie is on one hand saying one thing. Oburu says we will discuss that in the home. But then we've also seen several other leaders who are seemingly, you know, tugging in different directions. What's at stake here, and which are the different camps that are seemingly emerging?
Thank you. I think the first thing that comes out in black and white is that the exit of Raila Odinga left ODM exposed. And exposed in a manner that suggests that the party was largely being run on consensus, that every decision that needed to be made, people would sit, discuss, and agree, and move on to accommodate interests. And what is now coming to the fore is that there are people who probably might want to still stay with that format of making things or running the party, that we sit, agree, and find a comfortable position that accommodates all of us And then there's a group that sits and asks the question, was it procedural? And the group that is asking, was it procedural, is largely the young, ambitious, and I dare say impatient members of the party. And that includes a number of young politicians within it, includes now the forces around Winnie Odinga, and many others. And that is why probably in the last 2 days we've seen a petition. We still don't know what it is anchored on, by some people claiming that they're young members of the ODM party who are asking the current party leader to resign because his appointment or selection was not procedural, that they want the party to follow its constitution, as Sam has read here. So these are forces that we will see, and the broader picture of this is that there's also the agenda of the 2027 general election. And how does ODM approach it? Because there is a group that feels the time is ripe, the mood on the ground favors their idea that this broad-based issue is not working. It is not for them. And therefore, they want ODM to chart its own way and approach the 2027 election as a party strengthened and going for nothing short of the presidency. But then there's also this team that feels very comfortable in the broad-based arrangement and says that that is where Raila Amolo Odinga had instructed them, had wanted them, and told them to be. So these forces are coalescing around the party leader, the national chairperson, because they've been at the forefront of saying, as a party, we are in broad-based until 2027.
Yeah.
So we will see all this. But also, there will be an emerging force within ODM that will pit the deputy party leaders, the cadre of the national party chairperson, and probably some of the vice chairpersons and the various directors that would be eyeing 2032 with ODM in mind. That after 2027, who now takes whatever remains of ODM to the next general election, which is 2030. So we are also going to see that vicious fight between the deputy party leaders, the national chairperson, and the vice chairpersons and these other organizing secretaries, because all of them are either in Senate or would be bidding for their second term in governorship, and 2032 becomes a blank check.
Yeah.
So there are people who are building a camp now with an eye on 2032. But also there are those who says, for us, it's 2027 first. Let's get done with it.
Yeah.
Let's reclaim our party. Let's find some people to work with and go for it. So there'll be so many forces in ODM. So depending on what is your ultimate political vision with this party.
Right.
Is it 2027
or
2032?
And some of those forces is what is being referenced, and there's all of this shadow boxing about certain people who want us out of the party or who want to tear the party apart. Let's listen to Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif speaking about ODM unity, or perhaps venting.
Nina hasira, yes, nina hasira. Niiteni na nguruma, yes, na nguruma. Lakini kabla kufikiria tutatoka sisi ODM, mutatoka nyinyi, kwa sababu ODM is in our blood. And mimi namalizia nikisema hivi, and I want to state it very clearly here. Hapa, kama Nairobi is not ready for a national delegates conference, Mombasa will host a national delegates conference. And in the spirit of that national delegates conference, Oburu Odinga will be, whether you like it or not, Oburu Odinga ndiye atakayekuwa party leader wetu. Hatuwezi kupelekwa kwa hisia, my friend. Na kama muliona ya kwa mutatuletea siasa kusema ya kwa sisi tutatoka, sisi ndo wenyewe, my friend. Na kama muliona ya kwa hapa ni walkover, hapa ni stopper. Before you reach to Oburu, you will pass through me.
And he was not alone. Listen to Cabinet Secretary Ali Hassan Joho.
And I am asking
must also say here today, I defended my party kwa damu, kwa nguvu, kwa hali, kwa mali, kama ni noma noma, kama ni mbaya mbaya. It must be known here today, ODM is what it is because some of us tulijitolea kama ilikuwa mbaya mbaya. Mimi sijashikwa kama waaminifu. The only few times I was harassed by the police, it was because of ODM. The only time risasi ilinikosa, it is because of supporting Raila Amolo Odinga. And some of us joined the party ODM because we believe one day, even us from the region here, hapa Dibo la Pwani, hata mimi, I know one day I would have the ambitions to be the president of the Republic of Kenya through ODM. Na mimi naambia musifikirie mtatoa chambo, musifikirie mtatoa kafara. Naambia musifikirie mtatoa kafara, musifikirie mtatoa chambo. Sisi wengine damu yetu ni moto. Ukileta twaleta, ukija tunakuja, ukitukujia tunakukujia, ukileta noma noma, ukileta mbaya mbaya. Let me say it here today. Mkinifukuza nitawafukuza, mkinikujia nitawakujia. Kikiharibika kiharibike, kama ni mbaya mbaya, kama ni noma noma.
Okay, and then there's the deputy party leader who at some point perhaps seeking to cool down the temperatures and talking about the unity in ODM.
Viongozi wa ODM, kama mnaheshimu baba, kama mlikuwa mnapenda baba, let us ensure the root of government implements the 10-point agenda. Hiyo mambo ingine ya kusema one term, ingine ya kusema 2 term, itakuwa bure kama hiyo 10 points agenda haitakuwa implemented. Mimi nataka kukosa kiongozi mmoja hapa ati anasema ati ODM itaenda vipande. I want to assure you today, ODM will remain one single strong distinct political party. Na kama iko mtu amechoka na ODM, asituletee story, aende pole pole. ODM will always remain one single party kwa sababu ya heshima ambayo tuko nayo kwa baba Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yeah, I mean, I think he added to the whole debate. I want us to now listen to the party chair.
Kuna wale ambao wamesema ati vile baba sasa hayuko, chama inaenda kusambaratika na chama inaenda kukufa. Sisi kama viongozi wa chama tumeketi pamoja. Mwenyeji wetu hapa Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir ambaye ndiye deputy party leader wa chama hapa Coast. Deputy party leader Paul Simba Arati, deputy party leader Godfrey Osotsi, waziri ambaye pia alikuwa deputy party leader Hassan Ali Joho, na party leader wetu Dr. Oburu Oginga. Tumeketi tukasema hakuna mmoja wetu ambaye anaweza kusimama aseme yeye ni baba ama anatoshea kiatu ya baba. Hakuna. Kwa sababu baba was a once in a generation leader. Lakini sisi tukishikana wote, tukae pamoja, tuweke miguu yetu pamoja, labda inaweza kutoshea nusu ya ile kiatu baba ametuachia.
So, kuna wale wanasema, kuna wale wanataka kusambaratisha chama, kuna wale wanataka kuvunja chama. Ni kina nani hawa, Jamila?
Very good question.
I mean, we talk about this thing like it's a mythical genie, you know, and
just name. Sema ni fulani na fulani na fulani anafanya hivi na hivi na hivi.
And then you deal with it.
Yeah, kusambaratisha chama.
Opponents can rise out of the sea.
I know. Or like some mythical mermaid or something, or someone that is ni nani hawa.
But if you know, when we watched the celebration, when ODM is celebrating 20 years, this is a celebration just after the death of the mwenye chama, like the person who represented ODM, who when you mention ODM, the person who came to mind was Raila Amolo Odinga. So 20 years of the party. But then what we saw in those 3 days was really a bit confusing for those who support ODM, or those who say they're members of ODM, or those who voted for ODM. It was confusing seeing what was going on. There was a lot of noise, first and foremost, about hawa watu ambao wanataka kufanya chama hiki na kile, hawa watu ambao wanataka kusambaratisha chama, hawa watu ambao wanataka kugawa chama. And then there's a President Ruto factor in it also, because there was what was called the founders dinner, and he was there. So watu wamechanganyikiwa, wanasema kuna nini chamani? Because if before the celebration, after the burial, of course a lot of things were said about where the party was going. Mambo yakaonekana imetulia kidogo. Then after what happened during these celebrations, wasiwasi tena wameanza kuibuka between miongoni mwa wale ambao ni wafuasi wa chama hicho, tunaelekea wapi? You know, we talked about last time how over 6 million people voted for Raila Odinga in the 2022 elections. Hao ndo wanatazama hiyo, wanajiuliza tunaenda wapi? Robert, I don't know if it's possible for us to listen to Orengo, governor, saying, where does that leave ODM if you make president in 2027?
ODM can never be the party by broad-based, for broad-based, and in the interest of broad-based. In law and in politics, there is nothing like that. That I can tell you. Tell me, if in 2027 you make Ruto the president, where does that leave ODM? Where does that leave ODM?
And then the governor went on again and talked about how the president is on who needs ODM, not ODM needing the president.
Say Ruto needs ODM, is not ODM that needs Ruto. Sijui mnanisikia? There are people in the party, they are behaving as if ODM is the one that needs Ruto. Is Ruto that needs ODM? Kwa sababu ameshindwa. I'm not afraid to say. I'm not afraid to say. I have nothing to fear but fear. And I was very happy when Dr. Buru said ODM haitamezwa. And I'm very happy to hear what Winnie said.
Toka ODM haitamezwa, ilisema pia ODM haitabembeleza. Let's listen to him talking about how ODM will not bembeleza anyone.
Why you want to be a party of cowards? In this party, kuna wana ODM wanaanza kusema we will be in government or we form the next government. In the world of politics, you better decide what you want. You cannot go around the country telling wananchi that we'll either be in government or be part of the government. A strong party like ODM must be sure of what we want. We must be sure of what we want. And if ODM cannot produce a presidential candidate, then which party can produce a presidential candidate? Me, I would never support a position from a party which Raila has been built. Tunaanza kubembeleza. Tunaanza kubembeleza. There is no way how ODM can bembeleza Ruto. I can tell you. Hiyo ni ujinga ukubwa sana.
In Kiswahili tunasema ni sauti zinazokinzana, because we've had Governor Orengo giving his position, we've had the chair of the party, we've had CS Joho, we've had Governor Abdul Somad, and these are people who are associated with ODM Damo, and they have this very different opinions about where they are supposed to be as a party, because there are others who spoke, including Babu Wino, including SJ Sifuna. So the whole thing is about tunasalia broad-based, tumezwe, ama we want to go our own way come 2027. There is no time, because umwako umeisha. So starting 2026, then now we need to start seeing what wanaenda wapi. Are you going to stay here in broad-based, as has been in the past few months, or are you going to go at it alone and have ODM maybe field a candidate? Because other than that, you'll be either be confusing your supporters, or you'll be wasting time that can be used maybe to decide where they're going and work towards that, and carry with you the 6-point-something million people, because you do not want to leave some of them on the wayside, because some of those people are the ones who are from Ukambani, for instance, that voted for Raila Odinga. Where do they stand in this whole arrangement? You have the people from the coast, you have people from Kisii, you have people from Western, all those people who consolidate that vote from Nairobi, from the main cities. Where are you taking them? So there needs to be direction yesterday. Yeah.
So what does that direction look like going forward, Lina?
There is no direction. There'll be a circle. I don't know whether moving around is direction. And,
it is motion, but as to whether it moves you forward is another thing. Yeah.
And you know, the party's name starts with an O. So there's one thing that these leaders keep saying in ODM. They say we will either be the government in 2027 or we will be in government, meaning working with somebody. You see, all this drama would be answered if they told us where are they now, not 2027. And it is because of where they are now that we are in this confusion. The late Raila Odinga unfortunately passed on at the time that this broad-based question appeared to be floating, especially among the members, in terms of lack of clarity of its future. Was it supposed to go to 2027, or was it going to beyond that? And you remember there was a little statement that all of them now refer to, that if you are in doubt, just refer to what the party leader said. And I think ODM is in a simple dilemma. ODM is currently in government. So there is one wing that is saying, why do you have to come out of government in order to come in later? I mean, you're already in it. So why do you have to first step out? And that is what the heartland of the handshakers believes, that we already have we're in it. And you know, in their appraisal they've gotten from President Ruto what they didn't get in any other administration. I mean, in terms of real power, ministries, although the Reverend from Kanun's region said there are only 2 ministries, but maybe, I mean, the 2 substantive ministries, energy and treasury. So the temptation and the appetite to be elsewhere is very, very low. That if it's about being in government, then we are in there already. But I think there's a younger generation, among them Winnie and the Sifunas, who have their ears on the ground, and they know the low ratings of the current political arrangement. You know, the youth out there do not think much of the current political generation right across. They are yearning for something new. They are hoping there is something else out there that is not what they are being fed with. So that is what gives them also the confidence to then start pushing, because they know the power is sweet, but how is the ground? And I think that's where the dilemma is coming in. And you know, there'll be a lot of these thermometers which will be produced as time goes by with politicians all listening to the ground. And I don't know whether James Orengo will still be talking the same language a year from now, or something will change. It'll be down to what is the ground saying. And I don't know why they keep calling people ground.
I think even as we close, it's also a moment perhaps for ODM members, even those in Parliament, to reflect. Because on a day that the President makes a State of the Nation address, where is the 10-point agenda that ODM and UDS signed on the 7th of March 2025? You scan through the entire speech. Do you see it? Where is the commitment to compensate victims of state-instigated force or abuse by police, the police service? Where is that in the State of the Nation address? And so it is very clear that ODM may have its internal wars. I do not believe that the President is very keen on how that war is fought beyond what he wants out of that conflict. Because obviously, as a political master, he wants a second term. He'll do everything possible to ensure that despite the factions, he's able to secure his votes or his support moving forward. Either support for current plans within his administration, or even the promise of support come 2027. So for me, it's about political parties thinking deeply. How is their agenda getting attained in the current arrangement of leadership?
Yep, and that's where we leave it. Jamila?
Hata sijui leo roba nani anamaliza? Haya.
Hapo tu.
Uko. Kwa iko na